his Baguio Day message. Congressman of the Lone District of Baguio City, please welcome Honorable Marquez Go.
Thank you very much, our Master of Ceremonies this morning. To our distinguished guest of honor and speaker, our good friend, Senator Pamphilo Ping Lacson, Honorable Mayor Benji Magalong, and his lovely wife, Arlene, Honorable Vice Mayor Pino Loan, Honorable members of the City Council, former Congressman Bernie Vergara, former Mayor Mauricio Dumogan, heads of the different line agencies, other government officials, particularly the Mayor of the Municipality of La Trinidad, Mayor Salda, and Vice Mayor Awingan, department heads, awardees, barangay officials, members of the media, men and women in uniform, other religious leaders present this morning, members of the civic or the civil society organizations, mga kababayan, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. I'm truly happy to deliver this year's Baguio Day message. I am delighted, but at the same time hopeful that we follow through on this year's theme, Baguio at 110, nurturing the environment for sustainable development. I've always been an advocate for the environment. In my work and at home, I always make sure that it is one of the considerations. I've been consistent in my policies of prioritizing the environment. Between development and the environment, I tread carefully and put a premium on preservation and conservation. As a member of the Committee on Natural Resources of the 17th Congress, I have put my full weight on measures that will redound towards the healing of Mother Earth. House Bill 1340, now pending before the Committee on Reforestation, is one of my contributions towards rehabilitating our environment. It seeks to require every family to plant 2 trees for every child born to them. Basing it from the crude birth rate data of the Philippine Statistics Authority, that will translate to roughly 3.5 million trees planted every year. Other efforts, such as those that are filed towards the protection and preservation of heritage sites and parks, are my humble additions to revitalizing our environment. The 18th Congress, my committee membership does not include natural resources anymore. It does not, however, mean that the ecologist takes a backseat. I've been chosen as chairman of the Committee on Higher and Technical Education and a member of the Committee on Basic Education and Culture. These committees, I believe, are among the pillars where awareness and care for the environment can be developed. For who is in a better position to care for the environment than our young people, who will be the ones who will reap the benefits in the future? The education sector is a right place to find solutions. Our students comprise a universe of people who can think outside of the box. Some may not be comfortable with allowing children to participate in decision-making processes, but in a country with a population of a little over 100 million, where 28 million are students, their voices are hard to ignore. The term sustainable development was used only recently. Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. We cannot talk about sustainable development without talking about the environment where we get resources to meet our everyday needs. The term was noted in the Brundtland Commission, otherwise known as the Commission on Environment and Development of the United Nations, which was reported in 1987. If you think about it, it seems inconceivable that such a very important concept only gained international attention in the 80s. What have we been doing all these years prior to that? We do not need to go far to find this explanation. The answer is in the sad truth that happened in our own backyard. Data from the 1900s showed that the forest cover of the Philippines was at 70%. This means that only 30% of the country's land was not forested. 100 years later, or in 1999, a forest inventory was conducted, and the shocking result showed that the forest cover left was only 18%. Why we did only talk about sustainable development in the 80s? The answer seems clear. We realized belatedly that we have overused our resources and went through them unsustainably. In our quest to make a Baguio a progressive city, development is inevitable. Surely, to manage the growing population, we need to build more roads, expand sewer systems, waterworks, power, and communications. All of these changes could drastically affect the environment. And indeed, they did. When the city was first identified to be the summer capital of the Philippines by the Americans, the Murdam Master Plan was conceived. It envisioned a township with a population of not more than 25,000. That was more than a century ago. Now, our population has grown to more than 350,000, way beyond the original design for the city. It follows that we will need more resources. We need to clear more land to host our houses. It means we need to we will generate more waste, spend more water and electricity. We will have more cars and use more fossil fuels. And at what cost? We are now reaping the consequences of overdevelopment. We have lingering issues on waste management. The daily traffic has slowed down our local economy and has affected one of our sources of income, which is our tourism industry. We cannot even make sense anymore of the zoning situation in the city. Whether we like it or not, this is no longer the Baguio we used to know. These development moves are complicated by natural forces beyond our control. In 2011, a climate risk assessment study was made by the Worldwide Fund for Nature Philippines and the Bank of Philippine Islands Foundation. The report disclosed that the cities of Baguio, Cebu, and Iloilo, as well as Davao, our city became most vulnerable to climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, climate change is real. It is happening whether we deny it or not. We observe that although the National Weather Bureau predicts certain weather conditions, our city is a microclimate that does not seem to follow the national forecast. Our wet seasons are actually very wet seasons. Rainfall here is relatively high. We have to acknowledge climate change and consciously find ways to mitigate its effects and adapt to its repercussions. It does not also help that our city is prone to geohazards. Landslides are common, especially in our major entry and exit points. This change always puts us in a precarious position of getting cut off from the rest of the country. We cannot afford days without supplies. coming to the city. We experienced this during the killer quake of 1990, and it brought us down to our knees. It is therefore fitting for us to look back. This year's theme allows us to do something that will end up doing our own soul searching. At the rate we are going, will there be something left for our children and their children to enjoy? For years, we have been celebrating the city's birth with hopeful goals towards more development. This time, let us rethink where we want to be. Make no mistake about it, development can be achieved without sacrificing the environment. It is being done by the most progressive urban dwellings in the world. We can surely do it too. This month, as part of our effort towards our goal of sustainable development, we are organizing a land summit on the 13th at the Beneco Multipurpose Hall. The purpose of the summit is to reassess the land situation in the city of Baguio. We hope to gather the stakeholders with mandates and/or interest on land ownership, distribution, and utilization to give us a clearer picture of where we are now, and the data we will gather from there will be used to craft legislation or amend existing ones to stave off environmental problems and address conflicts. We have plans to establish greenbelt areas in the city, create environmental buffer zones, reclaim forest areas, and protect existing reservations. At this point, I would like to take this opportunity to commend the new leadership of the city. Mayor Benji Magalong has been walking the talk when he vowed to make revitalizing the environment one of his priorities. So far, he has shown his hands-on leadership in trying to solve the garbage problem of the city. His campaign against those who destroy the forest is unceasing and resolute. His program to clear roads and rid the city streets of the obstruction is gaining momentum. Recently, he has instructed the filing of cases against erring personalities who were accused of intentionally and systematically killing pine trees. As with any campaign, cooperation and collaboration is important. I'm happy to report that the Office of the City Mayor and the Office of the Congressman has found common grounds to work together closely towards environmental protection and reviving the vibrant Baguio ecology. Let us follow this through. After today, we will work with the Office of the Mayor to organize and activate technical working groups to look into our environmental problems and seek solutions and measures to prevent further damage and degradation. Ladies and gentlemen, there is hope, but we hope to act now. Let us give back to the city which has given us a lot. Happy Baguio Day to everyone. God bless us all. Mabuhay ang Baguio, mabuhay ang Cordillera, mabuhay ang Pilipinas.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Congressman